Welcome to Policy on Demand's Week in Review. I'm Pam Olson. The dominant news out of Washington this week is the failure of Republicans and Democrats to reach agreement on a continuing resolution to fund the government for fiscal year 2026, which commenced on October 1. As of this filming, there's been limited progress towards agreement. Government operations, other than essential services, which shut down at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday, remain closed. What's in the category of essential services with respect to tax? The IRS announced that it would remain open for the first 5 business days of the shutdown. What happens after that is TBD. But Treasury has the ability to keep the IRS functioning using multi-year funds appropriated for the IRS under the IRA. The extended filing deadline for many individual returns comes in less than 2 weeks on October 15. But regardless of what happens, expect IRS personnel to be there to process checks. While the Treasury Office of Tax Policy has funds that will allow it to continue working during the shutdown on regulations to implement OB3 and the President's deregulatory agenda, the shutdown may affect the final steps in the IRS and Treasury releasing published guidance, because the Federal Register may not be open to accept completed rulemakings for publication. While the government is shut down, the Senate is in session and continuing to conduct some business, in addition to votes to restore government operations. On Wednesday, the Finance Committee held a hearing on the taxation of cryptocurrency, including changes to laws governing how digital assets are taxed, as well as reporting on digital transactions. In addition, the Senate voted to confirm more of President Trump's nominees to Senate-confirmed positions. If it continues, we may see action on more of President Trump's nominees, such as the IRS Chief Counsel. Aside from questions about what the shutdown affects, the most common question this week has been how long the shutdown will last. I don't have a crystal ball, but for those hoping for a swift end to the shutdown, the fact that Senate Republicans and Democrats continue to consider options to end the stalemate is a positive sign. Unless enough Democrats were to decide to vote for the continuing resolution passed by the House, however, a 7-week so-called clean extension, then the House would have to return to vote on a Senate version of the CR. The House's slim Republican majority makes it difficult to pass legislation that even small Republican factions find objectionable. You will recall that the dispute between the Republicans and the Democrats revolves around funding for health care. Democrats want roll back some of the health care cuts enacted as part of OB3 and extension of expanded health insurance premium credits that expire at the end of the year. Both asks are costly, and deficit-conscious Republicans will find the restoration and extension objectionable. On the other hand, there are moderate Republicans concerned about the adverse impact on their constituents of the cuts and the expiration of the credits. Ultimately, disagreement within the Republican Party could prove as challenging to reopening the government as the disagreement between the Senate Republicans and Democrats. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.